welcome to Convos and Cocktails, where we engage, you listen, and we all get to drink. I'm your host, Lesotho Tlhabi, and I'm ready to wine little and laugh a lot with today's guest. On today's episode, we have Atlehang Ramathesele Mandy.
Correct.
Almost forgot the married surname. And we'll be discussing female friendships, the dynamics, the highs, the lows, the in-between. So first, before we begin, hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm really excited. I'm
Me
good.
too.
Thank you very much.
I haven't had like a person friend on the show yet. Oh, no,
okay.
Wendy, shame. Sorry, Wendy.
Sorry, Wendy.
Okay, so our cocktail today is an Aperol Spritz.
Yes, indeed.
So we have to have a taste. Have I had one? I don't know.
I'd
But
be shocked.
cheers.
Really. Cheers.
I don't know. I don't like cocktails with the word much.
Tastes like victory.
Okay, it's quite bitter. It's giving me tonic.
Do you genuinely think it's bitter?
Yeah.
No, I love it. Or maybe it's an acquired taste.
Why did you choose this cocktail today? Why is this your favorite cocktail?
I mean, my reasons are very pretentious, to be honest. It gives me summer in Europe.
Okay. And it's
actually
winter in Joburg.
it's a really basic cocktail, truth be told. Like, I think most people would order a Aperol, but I love it. And I
don't
like
know
the
about most
color. It makes me feel good.
That's nice.
But
Wow.
the only thing with Aperol is that you need to treat it with respect. I think a lot of people forget that. Like,
I think that's just with all alcohol.
It kicks like a mule. Like, you must be very,
gentle and refined. with it.
conservative.
Okay. So, like I said, you are here to talk about female friendships. The reason why I chose Atlehang as the guest for this specific topic is because she is one of my oldest and best and dearest friends. Aww. So background story, we didn't really meet. Our story is always that we knew each other before we were born because our parents were friends from varsity.
Yes.
And so when you're forced to be someone's friend, essentially, sometimes there are moments where you kind of think back on would this have happened if it was just regular. But being adults and still being friends through the moments that we maybe were not so friends, I think it's safe to say we've chosen this friendship.
Oh, definitely. I think people who know us are so tired of us telling the story. we tell it with such pride. I love saying, I never formally met Sukho because really, I mean, when I was alive, you were there.
I know. And then we went to every school together.
Yes.
From Red Hill to St. Anne's to Wits even.
Yes.
Even though I was there for like 6 seconds.
And contrary to popular belief, I didn't follow you. I think it's important for people to know, because you're a year older than me, that obviously when you went to a school and I followed afterwards, it wasn't because I was following you. They were good schools.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think Red Hill, your mom, heard advice from my mom and it was like,
yes,
take her there. But I think St.
fair.
Anne's was just one of those where we both ended up, because it was also time for a change. I was a bit tired of being stuck in one school since 3
Yeah.
to grade 9. That's a long time.
For me, actually, why I chose St. Anne's in particular was that my parents did feel that it would be a good change to go to boarding school. And I was like, if I'm going to do it, let me not half-ass it. Let me go far,
Okay.
Because, I mean, if we boarded and came home every weekend, it wouldn't be the same experience.
I wish I didn't board, because I didn't try and board. I wanted to leave Red Hill and I wanted to actually go to like a Kingsmead or a Rodine.
Oh,
But my mom, actually I wanted to go to Crawford. I was like, it's so liberal there. And it's
Friend, are you listening to us right now?
But then
I want to go to Kingsmead.
I know, and then in Rodine. But my mom was like, we're not going next door. I'm not going to drive you right past your old school to your new school. You're going to go. Which, it turned out to be whatever it was. But anyway, that's not why we're here.
Yes.
So I think a lot of people struggle with adult female friendships. And I hear a lot of people say, and I read a quote today from someone who said, when days are dark, friends are few. And I feel really sorry for those types of people. But I do think that there's a lot of misconception around female friendships as adults, whether it's betrayal, whether it's the fact that female friends are not, honest with each other, or that there's always competition. And I feel like ours is like a really easy, genuine friendship and an example for the youth. No, not really. I just feel like it's easy to talk to you about, because it hasn't always been smooth sailing. But so that's why I wanted you to be here. And I also feel like we've gone through different stages. You're now married.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And so talking through the different stages of when one person is maybe still single or one person has a baby and those kind of changes and how to navigate that. So the first thing I would say is, what do you love the most about our friendship? I know I don't want to put you on the spot and like,
No. Honestly, what I like about our friendship is the fact that it it evolved into a conscious decision, right? Because as you mentioned, we did kind of just, we were forced to be friends in all truth. But I think my favorite thing about our friendship is that we're very, very different. And I think it's complementary. So a lot of the time when I am nervous or shy about something, you're the one who'll bring me out of my shell. And I think it's a very symbiotic,
Nice.
It really is just a very organic, real friendship, and we can be real with each other. Sometimes, I think that's the thing. We don't ever pretend that our friendship's perfect, and so I think that's what makes it real. It's that it's genuine. That's what I love about it. It's family for me. I mean, you're my family friend.
Oh, I think my favorite thing about my friendship with you is how. Well, I think we are different, but we always say we're always similar in terms of like Princess Diana, our favorite movies, like the things we like.
You are me. It's
exactly the same.
It's the teen dramas and movies.
Yeah.
It's Nancy Meyers. It's happy endings. Wow, we actually in a lot of ways are the same person. Yeah. But then in a lot of ways,
very different. But I also like how independent we allow each other to be, because I did read some feedback on I asked people on Instagram, what do you like or not like about female friendships? And one of the people, or a few of the people, were saying that this thing of not being able to live your own life and still have a friendship. Now, I feel like we're very independent. We have our own friends. You have a ton of friends. Me, maybe not a ton, but I have other friends. You have other friends.
Yeah.
But whenever we come back together, or we give each other that space, and whenever we come back together, it's this friendship. There's no jealousy. There's no, oh, but you didn't call me and you're not like spending enough time with me, and we're doing our own things. We're building careers. We're building families. So I like the independence part of this friendship that still is there when we need each other.
I agree. Yeah. Look, I do think if I can share my personal perspective on friendships, I think a lot of the time people forget that a friendship is a relationship. It's just maybe you're not being intimate with the person, but all of the things you'd look for, I would guess, in a partner, you would want from a friend. You need trust, you need love, you need, to check in, to be there for the person and everything. You need, you really need all of those things in what I would call a healthy friendship. But what can sometimes start to become a problem is when then your friend does literally treat you like a boyfriend.
Yeah.
And that's where the independence comes at play, like where they're jealous or they're like, and Instagram is the part that has created the most drama, because maybe someone will see a story and be like, oh, you were there with so-and-so and you didn't invite me, and it can get very complicated. So for me, I think the independence is really key in a friendship, but it's important to also nurture and treat it with the kind of respect that you would a partner.
Okay, so now I want to talk about female friendships in general. What do you think about some of the misconceptions about female friendships, that, women can't be friends, women are always competing, women are so jealous of each other, or they just like backstab each other? This rhetoric, I think, is very misogynistic, first of all, I must say. And I think it's there because people don't want, especially guys who like to isolate women in relationships, maybe like abusive relationships, they like to feed into this thing of like, your female friends are out to get you. But what do you think about some of the misconceptions of female friendships?
I think it's similar to the misconceptions about females in a workplace. So, a lot of the time people will be like, don't trust the woman, she's vying for your job, or she's not going to support you, or whatever it may be. And I think that's a serious misconception. Well, in my experience, I have some of the best support from females, and it's really, really natural, actually. It's like while I'm here right now, I'm feeling a little bit teary, because I'm so proud of you. The fact that I'm sitting here and I'm on your podcast, it's such a realization of something you used to talk about. Sorry, I didn't mean to get teary.
But this is not that day. I need to stay professional.
That you used to, talk about with so much passion, but you were nervous. And to actually, I'm like living inside of an answered prayer by being on your podcast. So like you doing things, it feels like it's happening to me. And I feel the exact same with you. When something good happens to me, you are genuinely happy and you want good things for me, and vice versa, obviously. So the thing that I think is the misconception is how much love there is between women. We want to see each other win. We cheerlead each other. We genuinely want the best for each other. And I think the misconception when you create this competition fallacy really is partly why we become mistrustful of women, or suspicious, or maybe even standoffish, because you're like, and that bitch. And you don't even give people an opportunity, because I think when you can actually feel such sincere love, like the one we share. I think so. It's a total misconception.
Yeah, I think also for me, like, you know, the Hollywood thing of when there's a Britney Spears, she must be against the Christina, or when there's a, you know, I don't know which other, Brandy must be versus Monica. There must always be a versus for female artists. And I feel like they put that in friendships as well. Like, you can never just have two supporting women, even in the same lane, because we kind of are. We're both creatives. We're both in the media industry, but there's space for everyone. There's space for collaboration. And the best you do is usually when you collaborate. Because I know when you've had your shows and your jobs, you know, on TV, one of the first interviews you'll always have is your friends. Whoever's doing something in the industry, Atlehang is your girl. She will put you on. So I thought it was also very important to kind of honor that back, because now I have a platform. So before we continue with the female friendships, I do want to put a spotlight on Blossom Inc.
Yes.
Your baby, you were in the media industry for a long time as a producer, a writer, and now you are a boss.
Thank you.
So let's talk a little bit about your company, because I just feel like it is the culmination of everything you've been praying for, everything we know you were destined to do. And yet you still use it as a vehicle to kind of uplift your friends. Everything you've ever done in your career. So anyway, let's talk about Blossom Inc. What do you do?
It's such a love fest in here. It's so weird sitting across from you. I just want to like hug. I'm very proud of Blossom Inc. Media, I must say. It was a long time in the making. So it's a content and communications company, and we are like a hybrid, because we do services, but we also do products. So we also like can produce stuff for you and everything, but we do PR and communications. We do copywriting. Basically any content or communications needs you have, we got you. And
listening to her talk, you can hear that this is a good communicator. Just by the way.
I think what was cool for me is that I never had to soul search about what I wanted to do for my career. I knew I wanted to communicate. I wasn't sure necessarily how. So, you know, I did media in school, but, like my varsity degree was very, theoretical. So I knew how to critically think and the origins of media and that sort of thing. But practically, I wasn't sure. So I dabbled in a little bit of everything. And that's actually culminated in a business that does a little bit of everything. So,
were you never nervous about leaving?
Oh no, I was terrified. I was terrified. And, I think the funniest thing of all is that I was like killing it in my career, so to say. Own it.
I don't know why women, you know what? Men will, even as average as they are, they don't have this, what is that thing called?
There's a word for it.
Oh, I can't believe I forgot it now. I talk about it all the time. Imposter syndrome.
Yes, there we go.
They don't suffer from that. So don't you dare suffer, because you've done a fuckload.
But I think your imposter syndrome has been at its most intense with the business, definitely. But I mean, I'm working on it, and I'm sure you even knowing me, I've gotten considerably better at it. But yeah, I was doing very well in a career that had a very clear path, and I knew what the ascent would be and everything. But I desperately wanted to have my own thing. I wanted to put a stamp on it, on something, and I knew that I had what it took. But the thing is that I quit my full-time things, because I was always freelancing, but I had like stable full-time things to start the business.
So you quit before?
Yeah, because I had freelance. So I did have I may not have had the stability, but I knew I'd have something coming in, because I had some freelance gigs, and then COVID.
Motherfucking COVID.
But literally, I mean, maybe I wouldn't have made that decision if I knew a global pandemic was coming. So I'm kind of glad that I did, because it kind of launched me into a really big unknown. It was already an unknown. Okay, how am I going to do? to running a business, but now doing it in the midst of
pandemic,
insane uncertainty, was hectic. And it was also hectic because it was a time when people who I would have approached to be clients or, to collaborate with me, everybody was struggling because of the uncertainty. So, wow, it was slow in the beginning. It really was. And I second guessed myself. I can't tell you how many times because I was like, girl, you had you had it going on. I almost felt like I was starting at the beginning. So it was really terrifying. But now that I'm living it and I've when you start a business, you have to take so much responsibility because the buck stops with you. So it's terrifying. And I saw somebody, it was a blogger actually last week, said something really resonant.
Blogger in 2022? That's so nice.
Well, you know what I mean. She started as a blogger and now she's created this whole awesome platform. And she was actually saying how she does, because she's a girl boss or whatever you want to call it, because she runs her own thing. And she was saying the glorification of that kind of negates how important corporate and stable work is. Not everybody is built to run a business or
and
wants
not everyone
to.
has to or wants to.
Exactly. Like, and again, that's a thing. If you want people to win, let them do what they want to do. But yeah, for me, it was a huge responsibility. And I'm just so happy that it's doing well. Because I nearly turned around a few times. But now, yeah, it's really going well.
We can see it and I'm so proud of you. Let me speak for this invisible group. So we'll speak later about how people can find you. But how do you think, if at all, female friendships have maybe helped you in your own career?
I mean, one of the clear examples is the very fact that I'm sitting right here. This is marketing as well. I mean, obviously we're having an important conversation, but it's exactly this. It's putting each other on. It's supporting each other. It's actually, female friendships are it's also where you can be most vulnerable, So in the tough times when, I didn't have friends being few in the dark, in the dark days, they got down in the bad with me, when, I remember so many times when I was like, hey, let me just go back to get a regular job and whatever. And all of my friends would be like, you got this. You said you want to do this. Like, see it through. But would also, I think sometimes you just want someone to listen.
Yeah.
Cause I've been saying this to my husband. Sometimes he's so solution driven.
Oh, my husband.
Yeah. Hubby.
It's just winter for some of us.
It is really nice to have a winter warmer.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, being single doesn't mean you don't have it.
Like on a cold day. No, well, you know what I mean. There's the guaranteed chest that you can lay your head on. It's the consistency. It's lovely. But as I was saying, he is like very solutions driven, right? So if I'm feeling away and I'm venting about it, his brain immediately goes to, okay, how can we solve this? And actually, it's been so nice because I've communicated that, you know what, sometimes I just want to bitch about it. I know that I'll get to a solution, but for now, I just want, and he does that lovely now. But I'm just saying, like, that's what I find is great in friends, that sometimes we just want to talk. I think females, we just got a little bit more empathy. I mean, that's such a generalization, but you know what I mean, where you can really just be vulnerable. So I think that's where it did I answer your question?
You did.
You did. Okay.
You did.
Wow. It's because I went on a tangent about winter warmers.
I mean, you stays on a tangent, but at least we always get to the answer. So I asked, like I said, on Instagram, people about their opinions on female friendships, what they love, what they don't love, what their challenges are. And I want to read some of them so that we can not agony aunt it, but just discuss maybe in context of our friendship, how this maybe came up. So the first one is, okay. Woo-wee. This is difficult. Well, no, not really. I'm lying. Let me start with the easy one. I have largely experienced women as kind and wanting to build genuine connections. Yes, that's cute. Okay. Well, none of us have children, but this one says, can we please highlight how amazing girlfriends are for mothers that end up single and actually sometimes end up parenting more often than even the father. And most women are so good at this. They don't even when they don't have kids. I love that.
Yeah.
So you, for instance, let's talk about in the context of our friendship. You're married. I'm not.
Yeah.
How do you think that if it has changed our friendship? Oh, am I giving you what you need from that? Or your single friends showing up in the way that you need? Do you think you are still showing up in the way that we need?
Well, I'd like to believe that I'm giving my single friends what they need. I mean, as in, I'm still present. I'm still spending time, because I think partly what happens with any life stage, but in this case, we'll talk about marriage, is that people put a lot of perception and expectation on you. I was actually shocked the other day. You and I and our other friend, I don't know if she wants me to say her name.
She can say her name, Nosy.
Shout out, hi Nosy. That's the other thing. You and I have a lot of mutual friends,
yes.
so it shows that we
in our different groups,
we get each other. But we had gone for girls' night. I think I had a picture, or it was a boomerang or something of Jaeger bombs or whatever. And somebody came into my DMs to be like, Owen, you're married now.
Ooh-wee.
This is inappropriate. And I was like, no wonder, sometimes people are nervous to get into a new life stage because you feel like you're being watched. I thought that was a really weird thing to say.
It's a very weird thing to say.
As in, how? So on account of being married, I can't go out and have a good time, or is it that my husband's not there? I don't know. You know what? I actually just was like, blah. So, so I didn't want to really engage. I mean, in retrospect, maybe I should have been like, what? As in, what is the actual problem? But I didn't want to entertain.
Yeah. Not on your life. They can explain why it matters to them.
Because I was just, but I think that's partly what it is that you map out your expectations when you're going into a new life stage. I have found some people have treated me differently since I've gotten married, but I think that's par for the course in any life stage. But it's important to have a conversation with your friends and manage your expectations. So like I've said to you guys, I'm so keen. I still want to go out. I want to do all the things, but I want to leave early.
Yeah. And also sometimes you're not available.
Well, yes. Well, of course, yeah.
And this is not just you. I mean, I'm also 33. I'm also not always available because I'm tired. Sometimes the bones are weary.
Exactly. So, but for me, it's because that's my boundary. I want to, get home at a reasonable time. And that's what, and I think that's not even a marriage thing. I'm just at a stage now where, anything beyond even 11 now.
It's tiring.
It feels like a lot.
Gal, the other day I walked to Nostra, right? Because that was the movement. And as soon as I got there and I saw darkness, flashing lights, and heard the decibels of the music, I was like, no.
For me, it's actually those sparkly things that they put in the champagne. What is that called? That thing?
No, I don't know.
It's got a name.
Sparklers.
Yeah. Once I see that, I'm like, I don't think I'm supposed to be here. Maybe somebody's birthday or a bachelorette. Or I've just realized. See, that's the life stage I'm at. That a club. It must be a special occasion.
Yeah, literally only your birthday and only your birthday or Nozi's birthday. I'm not going just in jail.
Remember when we found ourselves in the club randomly
after brunch? This thing started at 11 a.m. Just for those of you listening, thinking Atlehang is some sort of do-gooder professional.
Yeah, no.
We started at brunch in Parkhurst. We then moved to, I think, 44 Stanley.
Yes.
Then we moved to Social on Main.
Our Uber van bill was high that day.
And then we somehow ended up in Nostra. So we were fetching it. And we had it.
Yeah.
I had it. I mean, I was tired at the end, but we had it.
But remember, we were in that club and we were like, I know. Because you know why? We were the first, that's how I knew that things are changing. We were the first people.
And it was so late. It was 11.
It was 11. We were the first people. That's wow. I was making eye contact with the DJ. No.
And then it only picked up at 1. I was like, nah, this is my cue. A club, how does it start? Yeah. Anyway.
We're not judging people, live your best life.
We lived. When I could still, my bones were still, I could do the clur until I just think, personally, it's an age thing. DM me and tell me which future guest I should be having a convo with while we sip our cocktails. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy your drink. I've appreciated you and how you've dealt with, I guess, communicating that. We've also known that things are going to change. I think sometimes in the beginning, I don't think I called you as often because I was like, hey, let her be married, let her enjoy. I don't want to infringe or have hubby be like, oh, there she go again. Their single friend calling again. So I did try to give you that space. But then I realized after you spoke to us just to say, we'll offer. The invitation's always there. And if you can't make it, you can't make it. But I have had married friends or people get married in the past where there was sort of this weird hierarchy of like, well, I'm married now. So what we used to do, I'm just like better than, or, you know, your lifestyle doesn't really, and it's like, oh girl, your lifestyle was this lifestyle last month.
Yeah.
So it's okay if you're no longer there because of marriage or because of age. But I think looking down on the things that you enjoyed like yesterday is something I've experienced too. So I'm glad we haven't. Anyway.
If I can also just make a point on that, I think what's key here is grace, you know, because it's not just, it's life stage. Yes, it's marriage or someone has a baby like us, like with our friends who have babies. We've actually said, please don't feel pressure to do like a normal, you know, girls brunch or whatever. If you need to bring your child and feel like
need to go to
it's an
Papachinos,
imposition, we'll go to Papachinos, girl.
Like sign me up. I love kids.
I used to, with my friend who, when her child was small, we'd go to Spur on a weekend and whatever, and we'd still be able to kiki and do everything. But then, you know, we were accommodating.
Like you said, there's alcohol at Spur.
Her needs, and that's all you need to do. You just need to give each other grace. And equally, I think it's like you, that you went through a period where you were so busy, which was great. I mean, you're busy. Your career was popping, and it was awesome.
Not was, but also
I mean, obviously your career is popping. I think you know what I mean. I'm saying it was a sudden influx of work, and because of the nature of your job, you would be like shooting a commercial on a weekend or whatever it may be, and we were like, that's great. Live your life, honey. You know, you still WhatsApp and say hey and check in and whatever. And then once it settled, then we could spend time again. Yeah. So it's important to just give people grace. I mean, I don't mean allow room for, disrespect or where someone is like genuinely neglecting you, like obviously. But sometimes we just need to be like, you know what? This is where you are at. And allow the person the room to experience what they need to experience.
Okay, well, you've answered my next question, so that's really good, because it was speaking about codependency in friendships and how you communicate that you might need space. Because, like I said in the beginning, this when days are dark, friends are few. Some people are going through things whilst you are busy there demanding friendships or demanding it on your level as well. Some people are busy. Some people are unaware that you might be going through something because you haven't communicated it. Some people are also going through depression. I mean, this pandemic has brought on a lot. So to also be like, I expect this level of friendship or the same level is, I think, selfish in some ways, without giving people the grace to sometimes just not be there if they genuinely can't, or because they genuinely don't know that something's the matter. Yeah,
I think codependency is also largely just about expectations and a lack of communication. I think, and you know this about me as a friend, I'm communicative to a fault. I manage to contact people and check on them and reach out, and I do monitor when I'm like, wow, but this person actually just never reaches out. Yeah. And I will obviously
the one-sided friendship.
I will temper that, because I'll be like, this is becoming a very like one-sided thing. But like generally speaking, I think it's just about expectations and communication. Like if you say, okay guys, this is what's happening in my life, you don't even have to give the specifics, you know, just note that, you know, I'm going to be a little different or whatever, then people can manage their expectations. But it's when people put expectations on you that they haven't communicated to you, and then want to while out when it's not met. But it's like,
exactly.
you haven't let me know that this, so that I can even say, okay, if that's part of your expectation, let me let you know right now that I don't have capacity for that, or whatever it may be.
I think also for me, like, I'm the kind of friend, when I'm going through a rough time, fortunately, unfortunately, I don't know, but I pull away.
Oh, we always find out after the fact.
Know. But vulnerability is very difficult for me. I'm trying to learn it, but I just feel like, let me just cocoon. And then because I deal with my feelings by myself, and when I'm feeling better, I'll come, whatever. But I remember there was a time when I think it was my grandfather or grandmother, someone passed away, and I was like, no, guys, I'm okay. Thank you so much. I'll see you, you know, after the funeral or whatever. And you guys showed up without my permission. But I think you'd spoken to my mom or something. I don't know. You showed up, and I realized then how much I needed you, even though I'd pushed away. So sometimes, and because of the way I am,
multiple examples.
I know, but because I'm that way, I mean, breakups, everything. I'm that person who's like, okay, bye, see you in a few months. Because I'm that way, I sometimes expect that level of independence, even though it's toxic, from my friends. So sometimes I'll be like, oh, something's happened here. Let me give her space and then I will come.
In fact, you and I have fought. Well, I mean, let me not say fought, but we've had challenges in that area.
Where we need different things. You need people to be there day one. I need you to give me days 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
But now I know that, okay, day 2 actually, I do want people. But how do you think we navigate, because like you said in the beginning, we're so different, different needs, because just because we're friends and we get along and we love each other doesn't mean our love languages are the same. Just like in relationships, it might be gifting or yours is physical affection or whatever it is. If you're going through a hard time, mine is to remove myself. Yours is to seek, what's it called? Contact or whatever. How do you navigate that with me with friends who are different than you? I think
what helped us, and unfortunately sometimes it has to become a thing before you can. I always say sometimes when something becomes a thing, we shouldn't shy away from it because it's going to help us.
Conflict helps sometimes.
To get to the other side. But I think, and it's friendships, relationships, family, whatever. If you try to apply what you need to another person is where conflict tends to arise, because you need to understand that you're not dealing with yourself, you're dealing with another person, and you can only learn that by doing. So how you and I navigated it is that I would feel like, but you know that I'm hurting or I'm going through a difficult time and now you're distant. What the hell? And then
what the hell?
What the hell? And
silly
then,
Billy.
You silly Billy. And then it was only through communicating my disappointments that you're like, Gelling, I actually thought I was doing you a solid. I thought that you wanted, to work through it a little, and then I could pop up, when you've really felt all the feels, and I'd be like, no, that's what you would do. And you know what I mean? And then now I even remember in some of my toughest times at the beginning of this year with bereavements and things like that, I could see how much you had attuned to what I need in a friendship, because you were just so active and so there. And for me personally, it was such a testament to how just telling each other how we feel and what we need goes a long way. So I think the takeout here is we all guilty of it, need to stop trying to apply what we need to another person, because even love languages, you might love affirmation, so you are just pouring wonderful words at somebody, and inside, but you haven't spent any time with them, and they need quality time.
Yeah.
And you're like, but I'm loving this person so much, but that's not what they need.
And also, then you maybe are not receiving the same amount of affirmation that you're giving because that's what you want. And it's like, I didn't know that's what you want. I will now, because even now I've, with the same thing of you saying, I've now realized that I need to pour into you when you're going through something. You also will be like, hey girl, I know that this happened and I'll give you your 1 or 2 days, but bear in mind, I'm coming on the 3rd day.
Yeah.
But I'm going to give you your time and space.
What I've also found with you, which has been interesting, is that, we're all friends here. I know people are listening, but we're having a real conversation. Yeah. With you, I've noticed though, a lot of the time you say that, and then I've learned now to give you the capacity to also say, because sometimes with you, it's that you don't want to ask for it, but sometimes you need it. So you'd rather not be asked. True. So I've noticed that even if it's day 1 or 2, I'll be like, friend, would you maybe need this? And then half the time you're like, yes, actually. But you just didn't want to ask, because, people are weird. We're all very complicated. And that's what makes relationships and friendships really beautiful, because none of us are the same. And it's a learning experience to figure out how someone wants to be loved and what their needs are.
Okay, so we've spoken about the more beautiful times of friendship, and we'll get back there. But we do need to speak about conflict, because, and not just the conflict where it's like one day of and then communication, then we're back to perfect. Just that one where maybe you're not talking for weeks or months, or you're just like, I'm never going to be this person's friend again. And then at some point you do, because I don't know if you remember in high school, I think I'd gotten to the point where, yes, you didn't follow me to these schools, but I felt suffocated by the friendship just because I was like, I have to be this person's friend because our moms are friends, and just stupid childhood shit that actually was not even a real issue. Because if I look back now, it was really important having a sister there at my school. But like all sisters, even when my actual sister came to St. Anne's, I was like, guys, I just want to be me. Go the fuck away. And maybe we also remember things differently, but I remember there was a point where we were just not friends. And
no, fully.
Actively so.
No, fully. I mean, I went through a strong period of dislike for you, you know.
And vice motherfucking versa. Anyway,
Damn.
How do you?
I was so
Are you trying to?
irritated
Okay, do you want to get it out
We
now?
can beef right now. We can beef right now.
Get it out right now. I just want to speak, because it's not for the streets, about how you deal with conflict when it's deeper than just we're not communicating on the same level. We don't have the same love languages. When it's really you hurt me, I hurt you. That we're not going to be friends, or we think that way. Yeah.
It's a tough one. If we're talking about you and I in particular, I feel
like it's better to use personal examples to like.
Yeah. I think I eventually got to understand, because as you say, we might remember things differently, but I could actually empathize with, if you've moved into a new space where no one knows you, it's a blank canvas where you can, create your own self and existence. And then when there's this person, and now I got all the background, I got all the tea, or even if you are behaving in a way that is this new version that you'd like to be, and I'm like, that's not you. It's frustrating, because I'm literally impeding on something that is your path. So I get it.
And also with lifelong friends, we are allowed to change in different
100%.
places. Like, if you're suddenly into horse riding now, fishing,
I'd expect you to confront me fully.
I won't confront.
If you saw me like jodhpurs at school.
I'm asking what's up. But I mean, if that's who you want to be in your new school, then you're allowed to be there. I don't think we should be stuck in one version of ourselves. Even now at 35, well, it's a few years away, but at 35, I might decide, I'm into white men, or I don't know, something that you've never known me to be into. And I need the space and the grace to be like, I changed my mind. I want kids now. I changed my mind.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, remember the word we said, the theme of this is grace. So obviously you need to give grace. But I think when you're beefing for a long time, I think it's important to make sure that, I think this is what's important, diversify your friends. That's partly when codependency comes into play and whatever. Is that like, if you've got that one precious friend, that's why you end
one
up,
group.
Yeah, you just suffocate them. Because, when we were really not talking. The comfort is that you had other friends and I had other friends. So it wasn't like now I was like some loner or you were some loner. So I think it's important that, don't put all your eggs in one basket, basically. I know that sounds really pragmatic, but it's important.
It's important.
Because
I would even say the same in dating, but that's just me.
Wow. Agree to disagree.
That's why you're married.
I think long-term beef is also sometimes important to see why, because you can also have friends for a season. I mean, there are some friends who where it made more sense because you were in a specific lifestyle or at school or a life stage, and later on you're like, maybe as people we're not gelling, and that's also okay. I also think it's important not to inherit beef.
That is my life's motto. I will not be mad at who you're mad at unless
that's also a new development.
Unless they genuinely because if they did some shit, then there are two times where I'll inherit beef. One, if this person, I've been your friend for 20 years, this person's been your friend whatever long, and I only know them for a year.
Yeah.
I'm okay to say goodbye. And two, if they genuinely did something where you communicate that this person, like, for instance, slept with your man or did something that is just unforgivable, then I will inherit it. But that we fell out, we just no longer like each other, and you've introduced us and made us friends, then soz.
I mean, you and I have lots of examples of your beef that I just chose not to inherit.
Lots of examples of mine. But to be fair, you've been quite good on when it really has hurt me, and it's really been deep.
Yeah. No. Obviously.
Even with ex-boyfriends, both of us have had to, because we've been such close friends and become such close friends with each other's exes, it was actually quite tough to also then be like, shit, we have to separate even as friends, with the people. But it was very easy when you take into cognizance what's actually important is my friendship with this person. So anyone who hurts them, just deliberately has to go.
No, 100%. I mean, if a friend of ours sleeps with your man, that just is such an extreme example.
Like, if it's just like, oh, Atlehang, swore at me yesterday. Okay, let's figure that out. But like, there's certain things where I'm like, I'm not willing to take the beef if we're both friends for as long.
Yeah.
Because I actually have had the like sleeping friends one. But like, if we're both as close, I'm close to you and I'm close to you, same level, it's worth a conversation. I think the thing of just canceling people is quite difficult. It's just difficult and it's messy, but we've also grown, and things that I maybe would have done 10 years ago would have been different today and hopefully in the next 10 years. So yeah, inheriting beef.
But now these are the things that make people, nervous of female friendships. We need to do some good PR for female friendships.
For sure. But we also be honest.
Sleeping with people's men.
Full stop.
I mean,
honestly,
I feel like that's a reasonable request.
It's more than reasonable.
I mean,
honestly, if anyone slept with your man, like, we can't.
No,
we can't.
But I mean, you know why? I am also like, whenever somebody has done something like that, there are so many opportunities that you would have had to stop it from, unbuttoning your shirt,
leaving the club, first of all, together.
Like all of these things, they're all moments where you can be like, maybe this is not
a good
idea. Wow.
Okay, so let's speak about jealousy in friendships, because sometimes people may be in the same industry. Sometimes people may be, I don't know, whatever reason, a few messages that I got, which I don't know if people are delusional or they're on the right money, but a lot of people feel like their friends have been jealous of them if they did well at work or if they're in a new relationship. What do you think of how to navigate jealousy in friendships, and do you think it exists?
Definitely. I've been jealous. I've been jealous of you at one point or another. Definitely. But I think it's how the jealousy manifests. I mean, we all know that jealousy is not a good thing. Yeah. I don't know if we should say, I don't know if it's jealousy per se, but when you're like, oh man, I wish,
like your wedding day.
I wish that would happen to me.
Like I think what everybody at your fucking wedding was like, oh man, like you just say, quote unquote. So jealousy is a strong word, but like there are moments where you, oh man.
Yeah.
But you have to also navigate that properly, because that can't now be the reason why you're no longer able to be your friend or be supportive. Or I'm now just like, girl, you know about marriages. Good luck. I mean,
wow, that's so vindictive. But I guess, but I mean, people do that. Yeah. People really do that. Or they'll rag on something that you're excited about or whatever.
Or just like having an opportunity to give you airtime for something, and I'm like, not her, someone else.
Yeah.
Because I don't want you to have the platform.
And I mean, people do that. I don't know. I think it, as I said, I think it's how it manifests. That's why we were saying whatever I think that's natural. I think we all feel it in one way or another. I'm talking about that active, possessive, concerning jealousy. Like, that really needs to be addressed, because then are you really my friend? Like, if you are actively doing something to withhold an opportunity from me or to sabotage me, then I mean, that's obviously just not a friendship.
Yeah.
I'm actually not too sure what I would do if somebody was actively sabotaging or whatever on account of jealousy and they're my friend. That isn't even a conversation.
I also don't know if I've ever experienced that. I don't know if I've ever experienced that, but I think for me it would just be to move away. Now let's talk about something that we don't often address, and it happens to everybody. It is more sometimes heartbreaking, maybe not more, but just as heartbreaking as romantic relationship breakups. Platonic friendship breakups. When you and your girlfriend of however many years are suddenly no longer friends.
Yeah.
That can be as devastating. I've definitely gone through friendship breakups. Somewhere I'm like, okay, and we keep it moving. Mm-hmm. But somewhere I genuinely felt heartbroken, especially when I didn't know why, maybe, because that's not always communicated. But how have you dealt with female friendship breakups, and how have you broken up with friends that you maybe thought, not this one?
I think maturity is key, because when I look at some of the things that I did in the past when I didn't have the wisdom, I would have done differently, because I have had a situation. Look, I was really, really upset with this person, because it was a build-up. It had just been an ongoing build-up of one-sidedness, of the snide comments, of all of those sort of things. But my way of dealing with it was like very unhealthy because I just ghosted basically.
Mm.
Not ghosted because I was still present, but I was
withdrawing.
I was withdrawing and I was withdrawing deliberately. And I mean, in retrospect, I could have given them the opportunity to fix it, but I was just so nar. I don't know how else to describe it, but I mean, yeah, friendship breakups are
also sometimes
tough.
genuinely it's okay, Atlee. Sometimes it's okay that this person is not going to be my adult friend.
That's what I'm saying. It's a seasonal thing, but I'm saying when that person really meant a lot to you, it can be really tough. And it's the same as a breakup, especially if you move in similar circles. Be like, oh Lord, I know they're going to be at Royale today or whatever it may be, and just already anticipating that awkward interaction. It's tough, and it really really hurts. And I mean, you know this about me. I'm a very intentional, very emotional person. So. Like if I feel like, a distance from somebody I was once close to, it's hard. I don't want to lie. And I think it's harder now at our big age because our circles get smaller naturally. As I said, your friends who you'd party with, in varsity, but you actually didn't have anything else in common except Jägermeister, they fall away.
Yeah.
I mean, they fall away. But then those people who you've shared yourself with, shared life with, shared your people with, it's hard, eh? Yeah.
Yeah. I think for me, it's like also realizing that there are different types of friendships. Because I've spoken to my mom and she says, as you get older, not everyone is your everything friend. And I think I've always expected you, if you're my best friend, to be the party girl with me. You go to theater with me. You go ice skating with me. We cry together. We camp together. We travel. Not camping, but whatever. We're everything friends. And I've now realized, I don't even know why I said that because I hate camping. But I've realized that you can have different friends for different things. Like now being in an industry that sometimes requires you to go to places alone, I have industry friends. But they're not necessarily the people that I may call if I'm down, dead, broken up with, someone's passed away. And then I have my going out friends. And then I have we like to do cool, quirky activities. Like I know one of my best friends, Nozi, has also expressed she'll never go ice skating. She hates it with all her heart. I love it. So I'll find let's do weird outdoorsy or whatever things together. I think sometimes you need to compartmentalize your friendships and realize the strengths that you can get from each friendship.
But exactly, because
there are friends like you and to a certain extent, other people where they give you everything, but
I think life is a buffet, man. It's okay to have certain things that you go to people for. So I mean, I'm a very spiritual person. So I have my friends in Christ. I have the friends who I will fellowship with, who I will, whereas, I mean, like you and I are not going to do that, but I have the friends that I will do that with.
What do you call yourselves again? Like PKs or something like that?
Yes.
The pastor's kids.
Yeah. Please leave me.
No, I'm not. I'm not judging. I forgot the name.
But yeah, so I'm saying that, and I think it's important because you also want to go to places where people will enjoy it with you. You don't want to send your friend ice skating under duress. Why? Because there is somebody who will ice skate with you. I even had to learn that, I think, in relationships, that it's okay, even if your partner doesn't serve every area of your life. And it takes a while to.
I struggle with that still, I think, but
truly, as in otherwise you can lose out on a lot because you'll be like, oh, but this person, they don't like fantasy movies, and fantasy movies are so big to that, but definitely not to move. But I was like, girl,
you want witchcraft?
I'm just a friend, any werewolf, any vampire,
wizards, witches, dragons.
It's not for me.
Please.
Although I watched Pirates of the Caribbean last week for the first time, and I was actually surprised by how much I enjoyed it.
Okay.
But anyway, my point is, you can't be like, well, this person doesn't have these shared interests as me, so I'm going to rule them out, because you've got people in your life who do have those shared interests. So when you want to engage in those interests, gravitate towards them. you know?
Okay, so I'm going to ask you one last question because we are running out of time.
Really?
I know. And I could literally talk about this all the time, but I don't want to podcast this like an hour and a half. Although people say they wouldn't mind, you know, but it is what it is. What would you say to people who struggle to find female friends as to maybe how in an adult stage they can make new friends?
Yeah, I think it's never too late to make new friends. And, you know, we must be very conscious of the fact that we're very blessed.
You're so lucky.
I've noticed from like the conversations I'll sometimes have with other people, how a lot of people don't have the opportunity to dialogue and to get into all of the things that we do, like the stuff that's on your Twitter. What's your Monday thing called? WhatsApp group.
This WhatsApp group, I guess.
Yeah. You know, so many people are, I've never seen this discussed before. And I'm like, really? That's like what we do. Like,
yeah,
like
I love
every time we get together.
Thank you so much for creating a space where Black women feel and experience all these things, but we don't have spaces to talk about them. I'm like, this is what I talk about every Saturday with my friends.
We're really blessed, and we mustn't lose sight of that. And I would love for more people to be able to have that kind of thing. And so I think I'd say the same thing that I would say to somebody who's like interested in someone. Sometimes shoot your shot. I've actually made 1,000%. A lot of friends. I mean, obviously not friends like you and me, but like great connections with people on socials where I'll just be like, this person, I dig their vibe, their interests are similar to me, and I'll strike up a conversation, and I'll actually just be like,
you're so much braver than me. I've seen them many times where I'm like, oh girl, that would be my, I don't know what to say.
But I think the key thing is not to be weird, you know. That's
I've been watching you for a couple of weeks.
You know, I mean, just literally just
like, what is the first thing you can say? Actually, give us an opening for those of us who are cripplingly shy.
Again, advice I'd give if you're interested in a partner, it's always good when you've got something that you can directly engage with. So if they've put something on their story, for an example, that really resonates with you, take that as your opening. Shoot your shot and be like, wow, I really enjoyed this book too. Or just so you know, I've actually really enjoyed your content, and I would love to keep in touch or something like that. And those little organic conversations can really evolve into a friendship.
That's actually really true. I have met a few friends, but it's more been their shooting shots just because I want to be friends with people, and then I'm like, oh. But when I went to Cape Town, I said, okay, I'm here. I have no friends in the city. Who wants to hang out? And Mokgao the Lazy Makoti was one of them.
I love her. She's so beautiful.
Like,
gosh.
Yes. And also so fucking amazing.
Yeah.
But we had met only once online doing a cooking together thing in COVID. And I went and I was like, oh my God, it was so much easier because I also talked myself into the spin of, what if we have nothing to say? What if it's silent moments? What if it's, because we're both quite shy, but it actually ended up being so phenomenal. But I would also say, do things that you like where you think you'll find like-minded people.
Oh, definitely.
The other day I went to salsa dancing with my mom and aunt and my mom and my cousin. And even if they weren't there, I feel like that's a space I'd go to on my own because I would find people who like to dance and people who enjoy salsa music and that kind of thing. So, and painting classes and comedy or dance classes, just do things even by yourself where you feel like you'll find like-minded people.
Definitely. And I also want to say that to everybody in different life stages, to their friends, that's also partly how you can make it work. It's okay. Cause I mean, I was very conscious that maybe people might not relate to me the same, you know, and I mean, I'm still the same person, but you know, life changes or a mom will feel the same. It's okay then to gravitate to people who are in that same life stage and maintain your friendships with the people who aren't. It's really, it's like, so if you're a mom, you know, join a Moms and Me class. If you know, because that's also partly what you can, I mean, I don't think there's like a wives club or something.
You will be very surprised. I know a couple of wives clubs that are in Joburg. So if you're looking for,
you know what I mean. Like if you're into fitness, go to a Zumba class, and you actually could befriend somebody there with a similar interest.
Yes, that is so wonderful. So once again, thank you so much for joining me.
I'm so proud of you, Sukho. Thank you so much. This has been lovely.
This on air, girl.
I am though. This is legit. Just because people can't see where we're at. This is beautiful. This is a proper studio. You know, you've done the things.
Thank you, my girl. So have you.
I'm so proud of you, my dear.
So one more time for people who want to find you on Blossom Inc. or your personal social media, where can people find my dearest Atli Ats?
You guys can find Blossom Inc. at Blossom Inc. Media on Facebook, on Instagram, on all the socials. Please follow my LinkedIn because that's where I'm really looking to gain a lot of traction. That's where you can find Blossom Inc. and obviously our website's www.blossomincmedia.com.
And they service all your media needs. Are you not going to give them your personals?
What?
socials?
It's private.
Oh.
No.
Okay, well.
But I mean,
Cool.
we've said, by all means, add me.
Sure.
I just
Add her
don't
professionally.
want to have no, they can even add me on Instagram. I'm just saying, I just don't want, I want to,
After this conversation, you're going to have, I have to tag you.
Well, no, of course, it happens every time you do an Insta story. There's an influx. And, I really have also, I've met wonderful people through that. So, yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Atlehang.
It's been lovely.
Give you enough, thanks, praise for giving me an hour of your very busy day. She's literally been in meetings just before and she's going to one just after. So thank you for slotting this in. This means the world to me. I'm glad we could speak about this with someone who is, like I said, I think my oldest friend at this point.
Definitely.
Yeah, probably.
Who else that is?
I don't know, girl, because we let go of a lot of family friends along the way. We weren't just the only two family friends, but we were like, nah. So thank you so much for joining me. And thank you everyone for listening. I hope you enjoyed your Aperol Spritz. I hope you made one.
Delicious.
Yeah, cheers.
Cheers.
It's okay.
Babe.
I mean, I've drank a lot for someone who's pretending I don't like it, but
cheers.
Love you and good night. Convos and Cocktails, produced in partnership with Lesotho Tlhabi and WMG Rep. Drinks never end at the bar. So join me over at the socials with your cocktail where we get to continue the conversations. Simply follow me at Lesotho Tlhabi. See you there. Recorded at Solid Gold Podcasts. Solid Gold. To be understood, you must first be heard. I look forward to our next Convos and Cocktails, and don't forget, mo money, mojito, or whatever Biggie said.